All right, what's up, guys? Jackson Abe here today, and today we are going to talk about just a little concept that I kind of developed in my mind, just kind of the way I wanted to. All right, what's up, guys? Jackson Abe here, and today we're going to talk about a little concept that I've been thinking about lately. So a little over a month ago, I got a lift in with a buddy of mine who's a physique slash bodybuilding athlete. I've known him for a really long time, and obviously when we get together and train, we're going to talk training methodologies, kind of what we're doing and things of that nature, things that we tried, things that we like, etc., etc. One thing that kind of stuck out to me was he was talking about his leg training. And he talked about how he really only utilizes, obviously, yes, other accessories and things of that nature, but his two primary movements really were, he said he liked to use hack squats and then RDLs primarily to build his quads and his hamstrings. And those were like his main movements. He tries to continuously build those up in various ways. Obviously, yes, things like leg extensions, hamstring curls, lunges, calf raises, things of that nature will round out your lower body training for a physique slash bodybuilding athlete. Plenty of other exercises as well, but I thought it was a really interesting concept. And so the way I started thinking about it was how would this be applied in a conjugate sense, just because I'm a conjugate guy. And so if you were going to make a bodybuilding program based around conjugate per se methodologies, obviously you're not going to really dive into the dynamic effort side of things in a bodybuilding slash physique sense, because you're trying to sculpt your body in a different way. You're not really looking for that explosive rate of force development that you would get with the typical dynamic effort. But you can obviously pick your main movements and push them in a max effort sense, being applied in a bodybuilding sense, right? And then your rep effort would just be all of your extra accessories to follow suit, right? So obviously here we have our main slash max effort movements. Like I said, for your quads, it would be hack squats. For your hinges, so your hams and your glutes would be preferably barbell RDLs, just because you could load them a lot heavier than you could dumbbells, but obviously dumbbells fit the budget here as well. And then for back, that's what we hit that day was back and biceps. And he said that he really liked to push the chest supported T-bar row. He said that he felt that gave him the best development for his back, the best connection that he felt. So obviously you could push other things like maybe a dumbbell chest supported row or like a bent over barbell row, maybe a lat pull down. But truthfully, yes, like that chest supported T-bar row is not only a humbling machine because it is going to limit how much load you truly can place on it, because there is no way that you're going to be able to cheat that motion. But it truly isolates the back. With the bent over barbell row, you're definitely recruiting a little bit of ham, some glutes, some erectors in there, which is definitely a good thing. But you're really going to get a lot of that out of your RDLs, right? So if you really want to isolate your back, getting on that chest supported T-bar row machine is going to not only give you the best chance to isolate all of the musculature in your back, it is going to take stress off the low back as well, but it is going to be an exercise, like I said, that is humbling because it is going to limit what you are truly able to load up on that machine. So it's going to give you a very long runway to build that movement up and really tack on quality muscle to your back. And then to develop the chest and shoulders, obviously just typical dumbbell presses from all angles. Maybe not necessarily decline, could be a thing, but definitely flat bench, and then all incline angles as well as seated shoulder press, standing shoulder press. And you can definitely use like plate loaded machine pressing, just because those are going to keep you in a more strict form, is going to be able to truly isolate those muscles while not having to necessarily stabilize as much with the free floating dumbbells. But dumbbell presses, you can definitely load up. You got to control them. It's going to recruit a ton of muscle fibers throughout your body. And obviously these are just great movements that we can progress over time. So we're going to fast forward here, and then we're going to talk about ways that this can be seen in the sense of max effort for a bodybuilding sense. Obviously different ways you can progress these movements. This is just the way I like to think about it. I figured I'd make a video. That way, if someone who ever stumbles upon this and is in a bodybuilding phase of their life, they can maybe apply this and get some really good benefits out of it. So yes, without further ado, we're talking about a little bit of reps and sets methodologies and different things that we can get into with these movements. Okay, so in a bodybuilding sense, we're really looking to obviously build muscle. We constantly want to make sure that we are challenging our body in a way that we're providing a stimulus that is going to negate a change. It's going to require an adaptation from our bodies to build more muscle, build stronger muscle. And we want to keep finding ways to continuously stimulate ourselves so we can keep making progress. A lot of people will just spin their wheels over the years, just doing the same things, not really progressing in weight or form or what have you, and they really don't see any meaningful progress, even though they're consistent in their efforts of going to the gym. So different ways that you can obviously push these same movements over time and you still get a good bang for your buck would be things like tempos and pauses, 5 count eccentrics. You think you can load up heavy dumbbells or heavy hack squat, do a 5 or 10 second eccentric, and that's really going to limit what you can put on the machine, but it is still going to give you an extremely challenging stimulus that is going to require an adaptation from your body. You can milk that for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, and then progress to things like adding pauses in there, or you can add bands, you can do drop sets, cluster sets, AMRAP sets. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about this. You can do rep progressions, where you work up to a top set of 5 to 8 reps with a specific weight. And then for the next consecutive however many weeks, you're going to keep that same weight, and you're going to try to add a rep every single week until you get to, say, 12 reps. And then you might drop it back down, or you might choose a different way to approach it. You can perform a wave where you're working up to, in week 1, a top set of 12, and then in week 2, a top set of 10, week 3, a top set of 8, and then week 4, a top set of 6. And then you can recycle, and then you can do things like adding bands. Even within the wave, you could do, like I said, a 5 count eccentric. Okay, well, you do a 5 count eccentric for all 4 weeks. Well, then you're going to do a 3 count eccentric with a 2 second pause for the next 4 weeks. That's 8 weeks of doing the same movement, but still milking gains out of the same movement and building quality muscle tissue over time. And so these are just different ways that, in my opinion, the max effort methodology can still be applied to a bodybuilding type program or in a bodybuilding manner. Because while they don't need to utilize different, barbells like a safety squat bar, a camber bar, or buffalo bar to improve their squat, they just need to find different ways to continue giving their body a stimulus to adapt to continue making progress over a long term. So it's still in the same sense, we still need to get that strain. We still need to provide that maximal effort towards something, to exert ourselves, like I said, to require our bodies to adapt to what we are doing, to make us stronger, to make us bigger and healthier. And so this is just a concept in my mind that I've been playing with. I wanted to make a video about it and get it down. Obviously written down on paper, but it's a lot easier to just sit here and explain this out loud. So I hope you guys got some good benefits from this. I'm also intrigued to see how other people would potentially apply these kind of concepts or methods to their training, or if you have, or if you've messed around with it. I'd really like to hear your input and thoughts. This is just kind of how I think about it, or have been thinking about it, since that training session with my buddy, of how, you could really set up a program like this for long-term development in the sport of bodybuilding and physique competitors. So hope you guys got some good value from this. Like I said, share your ideas in the comments. Willing to hear any of them. Like a good discussion. I love hearing how other people do things and how they go about their own programming and their own training. So like I said, if you have those things, please feel free to share them. But if not, please subscribe to the channel, like and share this video. I appreciate any of you guys' support. Training programs are on the website, abestrength.com. And if you need any help, organizing your training or getting your nutrition in line, please reach out to me. Send me an email at abestrength@gmail.com, or browse through the website. Shoot me a shoot me a DM on Instagram. I would love to chat and help with any of the problems that you guys have going on. And I thank you and appreciate all your guys' support.